Hey guys, this is Jeff with Top Star Mobile Detailing Las Vegas, and this is my setup.
All right, Jeff. What are you rocking, man?
I've got a bunch of different products that I use, mainly P&S and Coach Chemi are my two main companies that I stick with. You really don't need like that many products. A lot of detailers out there or people think you need like dozens of different products and 4 different types of interior cleaners and 5 different types of upholstery cleaners. Really, I just pick one that works for me and stick with that one, and then I have backup refills for everything as I go through it. So I like to just keep it as simple as possible. I have doubles on the stuff that I use a lot, like the wet coat. I go through a lot of that, so I'm constantly refilling those. Tire shine and glass cleaner, stuff like that, where I just like to have a backup available.
All right, Jeff. So, great setup, great products. What are you using to pull your trailer?
So for my my mobile rig, I tow it around. This is a BMW X5. It's got the twin turbo V8 in it, so it tows the trailer around pretty easy, like it's not even there. Not so great on gas mileage. I think I'm getting around 11, 12 miles to the gallon, but it's just the cost of doing business. But I like having that setup. I think it helps me with some of the higher end clients that drive like BMWs, Mercedes. They see you pull up in a BMW and they're like, okay, this guy's legit, Not so great at stopping this when it's full of water. The brakes, it does kind of test the brakes sometimes, so you have to give yourself a little bit of extra stopping room, At some point I might upgrade it to another SUV or a truck, but I'm gonna try to get as much as I can out of that as possible.
Is this your first setup?
This is the first setup that I have pulling this. Prior to that, I was just kind of doing it out of the back of a car, but I didn't have this whole setup.
And what made you go with a trailer instead of a truck, a van?
I went back and forth with that for a while. Ultimately, I decided on the trailer. One, there's a lot of room in there. I still have plenty of room to add more equipment if I need it. The other good thing is if your vehicle breaks down, I'm not out of business. I can just swap out the vehicle to another vehicle. I have friends with trucks and SUVs that if I needed to, I could borrow theirs or rent one for a day or two. Whereas if your primary vehicle is a van, that you're using and that breaks and say it needs a new transmission or something, I mean, you could be out of work for a week.
All right, Jeff, so you chose to go with a trailer. What's one inconvenience of having a trailer that you notice?
Yeah, I'd say the main inconvenience would be when you have to back it up down certain driveways, and there's obstacles on each side. Like this one, for example, you see there's rocks and stuff on the side. Some driveways are really narrow, or just parking. Sometimes if you're in an apartment community complex, there's not a lot of room to work and you don't want to box in multiple cars or block anything off. So, just having that space, if you look, this takes up probably 30 feet or so versus a smaller van where you can get in and out of things a little bit easier. That's one thing. You have to drive kind of slow on the highways with it too. I mean, you can't really get going too fast or kind of fishtail.
Got it, man.
Other than that, that's about it.
Now, let's talk about the inside. Who made your setup?
So I had my setup done at H2O in West Covina, California. Had to drive out there from Vegas. I went out there with basically an empty trailer. It was already wrapped. I kind of knew all of the products and the equipment that I wanted. I just needed somebody to help me put the blueprint together and frame it all out, put the diamond plating in, and that's where they came in. They basically got it all done in one day for me. I got there super early in the morning when they opened, and they had it by the time they were closing up. It was good to go. They did a great job. I still go down there probably every other month and have my equipment serviced, stock up on some products, and they have amazing customer service when it comes to servicing your equipment and getting stuff done. Highly recommend them.
For someone who doesn't have a setup, do you have to have something in mind? Do they already have something pre-made and then you pick and choose? How does it work?
There's 2 different options really with that you can go with. They have ones that are already built out and you can go and kind of check out what they have and just buy something existing. If you kind of have in mind like what you want it to look like, I had kind of a certain layout in my head of how I wanted all the reels to be placed and where the generator would be, where the racks would be, so I could get in and out of the trailer. and still have room to move around and work in there. So you know, you really want to plan it out, because this is going to be your shop. This is going to be it moving forward. So spend some time on it. Don't just kind of half-ass it and be like, oh, I don't care where you guys put stuff, because over the course of time, you're going to be like, oh man, I should have put this there. I should have moved. And you could still do that later. You could still move stuff around, but if you build it out right from the start, it'll be a lot easier for you. I did have, like, you can see the racks that are up front here. Originally, these racks here were along the water tank in the back, right? So when I had built it out, that was there, and the extractor was up here mounted up front. The issue with that was it was weighted too heavy towards the back. So when you disconnected it from the trailer, it would flip up like that. So it was really dangerous, actually, because once it was disconnected from the trailer, if you stepped inside of it and put any weight towards the back, it would flip up. So I had to move those racks from there to the front. Other than that, that was really only the main change that I needed to make. Now it's weighted really perfectly, so it doesn't have that issue anymore.
And what do you have back here?
So back here, I went with the Champion generator. I actually love this generator. It's really quiet. It's on a slide out that they built out. This is another cool feature that they do over there, where all your exhaust fumes, they're not going to blow inside the trailer and get all, you know, in there. So this keeps that ventilated really well. And then I went with the Cox reel setup. These are kind of pricey. A lot of people are, oh, they're so expensive, but you have to think of like efficiency, and over the course of the day, doing that every day, every week for the year, it saves you a lot of time from having to pull everything out, put it all back. It's super fast and easy. You just recrank the stuff up, and it keeps everything nice and neat in there. So I really like the Cox reel setup. And then I went with the Kranzo pressure washer. It's an electric pressure washer. That's really quiet. It only makes noise when you squeeze the trigger. Great pressure washer. It's worked really well for me so far. And then I had the floors diamond plated out and the doors diamond plated as well, just to give it the longevity, and it'll withstand the elements and last a little bit longer.
Now people want to know, man, how much did you drop on this?
For everything inside the trailer, the equipment, all the products, everything was right around 15K. Yeah, the trailer itself was somewhere in the fours, and then the wrap I think was about 2,200, and then another 15K for everything inside. So you're looking at 22 to 24,000 to build a setup like this, which, you know, some people are going to say, oh, that's crazy, that's a lot of money, but this is your shop. This is my shop. So I mean, you know, I want to have pride in what I have set up, and customers notice this too. And when I'm at somebody's house or detailing in a parking lot, people will just come up and check out the setup, and they'll be like, man, this is amazing. I've never seen a setup like this. And they take you much more seriously when they know that you're taking your work seriously and you're professional in your setup. If this is how you maintain your setup, that's how you're going to also probably care for their car as well. So, you know, I've gotten great feedback on it, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, it did cost me some money, but I believe that if you buy nice, you don't have to buy twice. So that's my theory on it.
And last thing we're going to talk about is the wrap.
Yeah.
Does it actually get you business?
This wrap actually gets me a ton of business. So that was one of the very first things I did before I even put all the equipment in there, was get the wrap on there. Like I said, the wrap was right around $2,200 to have the whole trailer done. But again, it's like a mobile billboard everywhere I'm at. In traffic, I have people at lights that will pull up, take a picture of it. I'll be in parking lots, apartment complexes, neighborhoods. Neighbors will come up and ask me for a card. I've gotten so many jobs off of just having this trailer with me at grocery stores, anywhere. So, I mean, it's definitely worth the investment. It's like I said, it's like having a mobile billboard for your business. So I would highly recommend either wrapping your trailer or van or whatever your setup is, or at the very least have magnets for your trailer or your van.
Hey, anybody ever call you while you're driving and be like, hey, Move out the road. You're moving too slow.
I don't have them say move out the road or anything like that, but I have had them say, hey, we're right behind you. Can we get a quote?
Oh,
and,
really?
You know, yeah. And I'll say, oh, what type of vehicle? And they'll be like, oh, we'll pull up. And, you know, and then I'll say, yeah, just, you know, shoot me your info. And I've booked jobs like that right off the road. It's funny, too, because when I'm in California and I go to H2O, every time that I've been in California, I get somebody that calls me off the wrap while I'm in California, and they'll be like, hey, can you come out in detail? I'm like, I'm actually based out of Vegas, you know, and they're all confused, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you in California? And but yeah, I say, oh, I'm just getting my equipment serviced out here. But so this is my detailing setup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you have anything about your setups, please post that as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe.